Bow Wow says he's tired of seeing his OG hero rappers broke and washed up, and we need a union. KRS-One responds, we already got one. What's up, words? Your boy Charles Brown back again, talking facts. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. Okay. We here again. I want to talk some more hip hop. Y'all know this thing that we love called hip hop, rap, graffiti, break dance, and all that good stuff like that. This is what we love. This is why you're here, and I want to conversate on this because we've been saying for a while we need a union. Bow Wow said it, and it went viral. But it's not the first time we've talked about a union for our fellow hip hop heads and our legends and our the great MCs that we've grown to revere in this business, the people that we have emulated and imitated and have, for better or for worse, grown up with and began to assimilate into our own lives. They are our culture, and we are very protective of it, right? To a degree, because sometimes we treat them like trash. We actually go on their pages and we call them all kind of names. Depends on if we like them or not. And we, even the great, even the legends, we still get people that go on there and they'll tear them up. They'll rip them right. They'll roast them right in their comments for whatever reason. This, that, and the third, because people are mean right now. But at the end of the day, we owe these people a lot. They stuck their neck out. A lot of them went without the basics just to sacrifice to get where they are today. And some of them came out with the short end of the stick. There are a lot of writers, a lot of performers, a lot of rappers who had deals, got dropped from those deals, and subsequently ended up without little to nothing to show for. I say all the time, I have promoted many rap shows, and they vary in price, right? Some rappers, you can get them for a very reasonable price. Some of them, you can get them for almost next to nothing, right? And it goes with the territory. Now, the simple fact of the matter is, I respect every single one of them, because if I'm booking you for a show, that means I have a level of respect for you. And I revere. I want the picture with you. I want to hear your thoughts. I want you to have a great time when you come to the city. I want you to feel like we respect you and we're trying to take care of you to the best of our ability. Now, I don't want you to burn me. Every now and then you get an older rapper or younger rapper that's just here to see what they can snatch up out of you real quick and move on to the next date. I've had them both. I've had people who have been very supportive when they got here. They've been very humble, and they've been very appreciative of the shows and the money that they're going to get. And you get some of them who come here and they just want their bottles, and they just want whatever they got coming to them so they can get up out of there and move on. They really don't respect it. It's just a job to them. And in any event, they all exist in this culture, right? And I say all that to say somebody should be protecting them so they can feel like all of their work, right, didn't go to waste. That you got some people like Diamond D and Pete Rock and a lot of people whose names and the things they've done may not get the glamour and glitz of what they brought to the game, right? There's a lot of people, Poor Righteous Teachers, and I could just go on and on, who made a impact on this business, but after a while, the business moved on without them. Once they started to formulate what was going to sell and how to sell it and what look was going to work and what look wasn't going to work. Oh, those dashikis, that got to go. And those black medallions, that got to go. And, those Kangos, that got to go. Sometimes it's the business. Sometimes it's just people, the streets decide what's going to stick around and what ain't, right? Those leather pants, that's out of here, right? And with all that being said, they may not get the level of financial gain, right? There's a lot of stories of beats that didn't get the proper payment. They didn't get the proper contract. There's a lot of rappers whose contracts were terrible, awful contracts from day one, and for the most part, I want to say 99% of the people that sign those contracts going to get a trash deal, right? You got people out there that's helping her to get these deals. I believe if I'm saying her name, Wendy Day, and people like that are out there trying to fight against bad deals and misinformation. But for the most part, she can't save everybody. There's a lot of people going to jump out there and sign a 5-year foreign deal with Mace or these different things going on. And you're going to have a conflict where the person is getting burnt. He's getting 90% of his income or the money that he generated for his music going into the pocket of people who didn't have any hand in creating it. And that's what that's what most businesses are. Once anything anything becomes profitable, you're going to get savvy businessmen who their entire job is to find the next thing that's going to make money. It's a commodity. It's a commodity-driven business. And you're going to get 20, 30, 40 financial people who are going to come in and look at the bottom line and say, there's money there. So we're going to start to figure out a way to squeeze every dollar out of it. And that goes for music. And right now that goes for hip hop. And so with that being said, when you got so many hands in the pot and so many people squeezing a dollar, trying to make a dollar out of 15 cents, and they're using you as a commodity for their come up, for their Bentley and whatever else they got to pay for, these yachts and all that. These parties ain't cheap. They got a lot of things that they want to do next year. They want to go to Cabo and all these different places, and they need your money. So the simple fact of the matter is you got to figure out how to be smart with your money. And a lot of people that got these deals back in the day, they didn't have the foresight to know, I'm going to be broke in 2023. I'm going to be broke in 2013. I'm going to be broke in 2003. There's a lot of rappers I revered back in the day who I'm sure if they didn't invest that money wisely, I'm sure right now they are working an average job somewhere, or they're locked up, or they're in jail, right? They're not, if they didn't do well. You hear the very rare success story like Chameleonaire and people like that who took their money and invested it. I believe maybe Sadat X and a couple people, I think Saphir from the West Coast, a couple people invested in real estate and things of that nature. If they didn't understand their money, they just spent it. And so I say all that to say this. A lot of people have been talking over the past 7-8 years about a union. Probably longer, way longer than that, but serious talk, right? Serious talk. And I saw somebody on the Breakfast Club about 2 weeks ago talking about a hip-hop union. I can't remember the person who it was, but they were talking about a hip-hop. So the conversation is getting steam. Let's say that. And Bow Wow is the newest person to add steam to this conversation, right? So he went viral with his statement of basically saying that he wanted to see his elders have a better shake in this thing. On Twitter, Bow Wow said, quote, hip-hop needs a board, no different from the NBA with the Players Association, a committee. A committee that can set rules and keep things in control and protect this thing we call hip-hop, and have a retirement plan for the OG rappers. I hate seeing my heroes liquored out, no money, just washed. So when he said that, it went viral, and this is the perfect time for someone who has anything to say about that to speak up. And the first person is the teacher, KRS-One, who was one of my idols from back in the day, and I'm gonna get into that later. But he recently he responded to Bow Wow on Twitter and issued a response along with Chuck D and Curtis Blow via a statement. These are all legends. And he shared it via Rock the Bells. Quote, like every other aspect of society's workforce, the artists and creators of hip-hop need protection, support, and advocacy. From labor disputes to intellectual property, retrieval, and the need for an overall governing body, the Hip Hop Alliance was established. So what they were saying in that statement is that they have a new thing called Hip Hop Alliance. It just came out. I believe it as far back what I can ascertain. I went and did a little research, and I think their first post, according to Instagram, now you know people be deleting stuff and whatever, but according to Instagram was July 24th of 2022, if I'm not mistaken. It looked like around last July, they started this alliance. The statement continued. Recent comments this weekend created a unique opportunity to bring forth the conversation that many in hip hop have been addressing for a long time, the need of a governing body of hip hop. The goal of HHA is to empower artists to make informed decisions about their career and ensure their rights are respected and protected. End quote. Along with that, KRS addressed the conversation sparked by Bow Wow via Instagram. Take a look above. Now, I watched that video. He didn't really address Bow Wow. I don't know why they're saying he addressed Bow Wow. He did not address Bow Wow. Maybe it's another video, but the video that they posted here, he didn't say one word about Bow Wow. He just spoke about they were doing a conference over in Europe, in the UK, and you should go to that. And then he directed people to the hiphopalliance.org, which is a non-profit organization for hip-hop and rappers, and I just read what their mission was. So with that being said, I went over, because this was news to me. I never heard of the Hip Hop Alliance. They just started this, right? I go to the Hip Hop Alliance. There's a video of KRS-One, Slick Rick, Big Daddy Kane. KRS-One is speaking and or rapping about what the Hip Hop Alliance's goal is. You do not see Chuck D on the website. As far as you see him on the website, as far as he's in the About Us, who they are, but he's not rapping. He's not saying anything in particular. It's Chuck D, Curtis Blow, and KRS-One are the founders of this, right? Dougie Fresh is a founder. He's a chairman. There's a couple other names up here. They're board members. So I signed up for the HHA, and it was very vague. It asked me for my name and address and what my stage name was, and it said that the cost was $100, but it's free. They waived the $100 membership fee. I'm assuming that may come in due time, but it has an alliance and a mission. It says HHA is on a mission to secure the strongest protections for our members. Our goal is to extend Pivotal Union resources to all creators in hip-hop and R&B, and it's free, right? So with all that being said, it sounds great, and I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. I want to read more about it, but it wasn't much more information. It was you could donate, of course, and then it asks you what your goals are, right? When you are trying to become a member of this, it asks what the different things you were looking to achieve. What were you interested in? I'm not going to get into all that. You just head over there, go over to hiphopalliance.org, check it out for yourself to become a member, right? So I want to talk about this. We do need a union. Hip hop needs a union. We've been saying this forever. And I don't know if Bow Wow responded to this or not, but what I do want to say is one of the things that has eluded me, right, about this said union that's been touted for many, many years. And I agree with the union. But there's some things have to be spoken about, and I'm not afraid to speak about them. That's what I do here. I will get criticized when I'm wrong, and I will get praised when I'm right, and I will get indifference when they just don't care. So at the end of the day, I want to say this about the union. What I'm seeing with this particular union, I don't have any problems with it per se, but I don't know where it's going because it's kind of vague with what they're saying what they want to do, but they're not saying how they're going to achieve it. It just says we want to do this down the third, now donate, right? So my opinion as to what's going to happen when why I feel like this is going to be a tough sale for even the great Chuck D, the great KRS-One, and the mighty, mighty Curtis Blow, and the others involved. I like how it's starting. It looks like it's well put together. They have a website. They have the faces that you want to see involved, the veterans, the legends, right? My concern with this, and the reason what I don't think is being addressed right now, I don't think we're going to get this funded by the people. And what I mean by that, this is a new era, right? Now, for all we know, which is highly likely, they could have financial backing already to do this. They could have gotten a grant, which I'm sure they did if it's a nonprofit. I'm sure somebody walked in and applied for a grant or whatever, some kind of way there's money put in this thing already. Because I don't see, they're not desperately begging you for donations or this can't happen. And they just have a little button there saying donate. If you wish to donate, you can join for free. So this stuff doesn't run itself. But my thing is, you're going to need, and I get it, it's just starting. I understand that. This cannot be a, in and of itself, just KRS, Chuck D, and Curtis Blow thing. It cannot just survive with these three as the figureheads, and then Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh are advisors, right? Which is what it says on here to a degree, right? It is going to, without question, need some star power. This thing is going to need no less, and this is not an exaggeration, no less than 50 different artists minimum to work, of different ilks, different styles of rap, different eras of rap. You're going to need old school, you're going to need new school, you're going to need somebody right now that's right now in this business, a Coil Ray, somebody. You're going to have to snatch somebody. It ain't going to be a 1-2 man show. It ain't going to be 10 old school rappers. You get 20 old school rappers and you pretty just got a decent show. You're not going to get a sustainable union. And then you got to decide who gets the money from this union, right? It's so many different variables with the union. Who gets the retirement? Are they paying into the retirement fund, which is what retirement funds are? You pay into a retirement fund. If I'm not mistaken, that's not ever free. When you have a job and you're working and you sign up for your 401k or any type of retirement, they take it out your check every month. So are these rappers going to be expected to pay something for their retirement every month? Is it going to be based on how long you've been in the business? Is it going to be based on how much rap records you sold? Is it going to be based on how many fans you got? Is it going to be based on if you have no fans? How do you become a hip hopper? Well, who decides who's the hip hopper? Right? Is Busy B a hip hopper? Or who decides who's hip hop enough? Right? If somebody's doing trap house or somebody's doing alternative hip hop, that where does it begin? So it's what I'm saying is this. There's a lot of unanswered questions with this union, and I'm not knocking. I'm telling you that we need this union. This is constructive criticism. We need to answer some of these questions. We need to know what is the criteria for getting the retirement. I'm going to assume, this is me, and I do not know, but it looks like you're going to have to pay into the union. I'm just basing it on being an adult in a real world, not a fantasy world where hip hop is dancing around and Debbie Harry is doing cartwheels and writing on graffiti on the wall and monsters are eating New York. I'm not talking about that world. I'm talking about real life. All of these well-bodied hip hop heads running around that want to get in a retirement plan, I think they're going to have to pay in. And that money's going to be doled out if something happens to you. It's going to be a binding contract. This is me guessing because it didn't say it on the site. There's going to be a binding contract where you're going to pay monthly, and then when you retire, it kicks back out to you. Now, I'm going to be honest. That couldn't work, but I'm going to be honest. That is not what we were talking about. That is not what we were talking about when we said we need a union, a board. That is not what it's supposed to be. Again, I understand things can't move without money and financial backing. This would never work just based on donation. It would never work on that. My understanding, I'm going to wrap this video up because I think we're about to hit 20 minutes. I'm going to wrap this up, right? The hip hop union was not supposed to be Chuck D, KRS, and Curtis Blow trying to get us, the consumer, to donate. Let me just be clear. I'm going to say that again. The hip hop union was not supposed to be the rap fans carrying the weight to decide who and what gets rap. Does Kool Herc get 50 grand next year because he can't pay his bills? What it should be, right? And what it will ultimately have to be. is these multi-millionaire rappers who are buying $30, $40, $50, $100,000 of jewelry with the money we already spending on rap. Right? We shouldn't be putting in a dime because we already spend enough on these shows and this merch and these CDs and these tapes and this vinyl. Right? Transportation to these events, taking off work. We already put enough money to this. I'm just being honest with you. So, no, it shouldn't be us carrying for this hip hop thing. We're the ones funding it in the first place. So what it need to be is these millionaire rappers with all this bravado and all this money they got going on. Right? All these people that want to, when the Ricos come, they want to give out all these turkeys and all this stuff so they can look like they good citizens. Them the people that we need to hear from. Right? We don't need me putting $10 in. It shouldn't be carried by me. I'm already carrying it. We need these rappers who buying Balenciaga and all this good stuff like that there. All these new watch alert, Hugh Blow. We need that. So what's going to happen is until we get 50 rappers, 100 rappers, 300 rappers all in agreement that they going to pay, it's not going to work. Now, again, I wish it the best, and I'm going to watch it and do what I can do. I don't have no problem donating to things. I have no problem. But what I'm telling you is this. Until you get some of these rappers that's walking around with these bottles of this and they've got all this entrepreneur stuff going on. DJ Khaled, Rick Ross, right? I'm supposed to put in money for Rick Ross to eat off? So what I'm saying is this. What it's supposed to be is rappers like Bow Wow who don't want to see the OGs dirt, poor, broke, and all this other stuff. What it needs to be is they need to be kicking up big money. Because they owe the game more than I don't owe the game nothing. I don't owe the game absolutely nothing. So at the end of the day, these rappers, Kanye West, right? Pusha T, Drake, they need to carry the entire union. All these young rappers that want these record deals, it need to be written in them record deals. You put in for the union that you're going to one day want money from. Right? I don't work in the steel industry. I shouldn't be asked to put money into the steel industry if I'm not getting no money back from it, right? It should only be people in the industry itself. And I believe that's what they're saying when they got the memberships where you can sign up and this and that. If you claim to be an industry, then you're going to put your money in. I understand that. Right? I understand. If we're in the industry, put a certain amount of money into the retirement. That's why I said earlier, they're going to be having you pay. Somebody has to pay for it. I understand that. But it shouldn't be the consumer. We need these big money guys to put some big money ducats up and make this union pop. I know we got so many big name rappers, young and old. Diddy, right? I can go Jermaine Dupri. They can carry this thing by themselves. Some of these private jet guys. So, no, it shouldn't be the consumer carrying this. And it shouldn't be the little man. Right? And I understand it's going to be a strength in numbers type of thing. If you get 1 million artists all to put in, I understand that. And that's a very good idea. But the union not going to really do what it needs to do until these bigger names are accountable for what they're getting from the game as well. Like I see Jewels and Jim Jones, and these guys spend a lot of money every day. They can kick some money into this union. I'm going to leave it alone. Chuckwick Ills, CLBMG.com. I'm going to catch y'all on that flip side. Let me know what you think in the comments about the union, Bow Wow, KRS-One, Big Daddy Kane, Slick Rick, Curtis Blow, Chuck D. Let me know. Peace. Jim. The one thing I do want to stress before I get out of here is that I understand the nuance that this union is not the same union Bow Wow is talking about. Bow Wow is talking about funds, immediate funds for the elder statesmen to have access to when they need it. This union is a collective of artists putting in together so that they all can be situated financially at the end of their run. And not even at the end of their run, during their run, where they can access funds if needed, I'm going to assume, and have understanding of what to do with their contract. This is a place to go where they can get information on what to do to advance their career. So I understand that there are two different unions. One is more of a charity, not necessarily a charity, but it is what Bow Wow's talking about, and the other is more of an organization that is just there to manage your funds and your career to the end of your run, and you can retire with those funds that you put in, something like a Social Security type of thing. But I do understand the difference.
CLB.